Well, welcome. Tonight, our first time at the helm, we have the leader of our school system to talk to us. Why don't we start with an introduction if there is somebody
Sure.
who doesn't know you?
Hi, everybody. I'm Craig Consigli, Superintendent of Milford Public Schools. What kind of introduction? How far do you want me to go?
As far as you want.
All right. This is my 28th year in the Milford Public Schools. I've served the school system in a number of different ways. I started as actually a substitute teacher in 1997, I believe, December of 1997. Then I became a health teacher. I coached a number of sports. I coached football, I coached baseball. In about 2005, I became the assistant principal over at Stacy, and then principal of the now defunct Middle School East for a while, before going over to Woodland Elementary School for 4 or 5 years, and then assistant superintendent for 10, and here I am in my first year.
Well, you had big shoes to fill with Middle School East.
With Mr. Davern, yeah, he is a great man and good leader for certain.
He was amazing. It was his school. You
Yeah.
felt that it was his school.
It's true.
And anybody who stepped out of line, because he told us up front, I'm here to give everybody a good education. If your child takes away from others, I will deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
And you knew from his demeanor that he really would deal with it.
Yeah, he did. He's a very wise man. He hired me, so obviously, but he was a good person to learn under for certain. He had a lot of years of experience, and he always treated me very well.
So I have to ask the basic question.
Sure.
Now that you're at the helm,
Yeah.
is it what you thought it was going to be? If that's possible?
Late nights, early mornings. And you don't forget, I'm coming off of the snow season,
Huh.
so that was a little unexpected. Anytime the temperatures dipped, we were starting 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, working with the highway department and then our own maintenance department, just trying to figure out. We're trying to get people in the right places so that everyone can arrive to school safely. I think that one there, that wasn't what I expected for certain. I didn't realize it was that many days. I thought, on the snow days that we had, those were very easy because we had 2 giant storms. But everything else, not so much. I guess otherwise, I didn't realize. What I didn't realize was that carrying 2 phones is a necessity, because if they don't get me on this one, they get me on this one. So oftentimes it's ringing, both phones are ringing. So sometimes I'm on both phones at the same time. So that's been eye-opening. But I think generally, I think what I guess I expected but didn't realize how much time it would be is how many different meetings and how many different people just want your attention for certain things.
Well, you only have, 800 reporting to you?
Yeah, more than that. Actually, it's almost 900
Wow.
staff members. And then we have almost 4,400 students. So, yeah, plus all of our families. So, yeah, I think one thing that's kept me kind of sane, I guess, is still coaching my kids. I just came off a basketball season where I was head coach of one team and assistant coach of another. And now I'm going back into softball season here in a couple weeks. So it keeps me out of the office, because I feel like if I wasn't coaching, I'd just stay in the office and keep working. There's always something to do. So,
Well, it also puts in perspective why you're doing this.
yeah, exactly. I never went into education to become a superintendent. Never in a million years did I think that that's what I would do. It was always about coaching and teaching kids, so it's important.
Well, the coaching got me 4 nights a week with my daughters.
Yep, that's exactly right.
And, you know, I could pretend it was all for them, but a lot of it was just the satisfaction I got, and especially as they got older, when they got to be 14, 15, and
Yeah,
you still got them 4 nights a week, so.
yeah, yeah. That's a good perspective. I agree. I probably get a lot more out of it than they do.
Oh, yeah. I remember when we picked up a biotech company in L.A., I had to commute
From here to L.A.
twice a week.
Oh, jeez.
Left at Monday at 6 a.m., first
Yeah.
meeting at 11,
Wow.
and then either Monday night or Tuesday, fly back for Wednesday practice, fly back Thursday morning, be in the office again, and fly back Friday night for the game Saturday.
Holy moly.
That was a challenge.
I can imagine.
After 2.5 years, I finally had to say enough.
Yeah, that's a lot of red eyes, I bet, huh?
Oh, yeah. The good news was, had a lot of frequent flounder miles.
Yeah, that's good.
You know,
That's
to
a-
this day, they're going to revoke it now that I'm not flying, but I got platinum status for life. So I
Wow.
had over 4 million miles.
That's incredible.
But it got me home
Yeah.
Wednesdays to be with the
Yeah.
kids. And
Yeah.
so what are the biggest challenges you've been facing?
Well, let's see. I think back to where we've been in the last few years. I think the two things that came out of COVID, which are sort of the most challenging right now, are attendance and literacy. I think we never really bounced back from losing some of the years that we did during COVID, even that 1 year that we lost really in COVID. It's also changed people's perspective around education and what's important.
How so?
I think that's what we're seeing when we see attendance, right? Is folks are, at least when we came out of COVID, taking more vacations with their families or just being out with their kids more. That contributed to some of our attendance issues. It's kind of going away. We're getting a little better with attendance, but I think right now what's contributing to attendance is the current political climate in our country, honestly. Immigration, the way it is it causes a fear sometimes for our families where they don't want to send their kids to school if they're hearing that ICE agents are around in town or there's been some kind of social media frenzy. It really affects our schools and affects our attendance with students. And I don't know how to overcome those things. So that's been really challenging, at least in the last couple of years.
But is it real? I mean, are ICE agents coming to the schools?
No, they're not. But real or perceived, it's a fear
Yeah.
that families have, right? I guess imagine sending your child off to school and worried that you won't see him again for one reason or another. I think it's a worry that a lot of us have, right? So that's,
Well, we saw the attendance drop off at Sunday masses
yeah,
because people were scared that they heard the ICE agents were hovering
Yeah.
around St. Mary's and Sacred Heart and picking off undocumented illegal migrants. I asked Robbie, our police chief, and he said, no, they're coming through with warrants.
yeah,
So if you've committed crimes,
yeah,
yeah, you should be worried. But he said it wasn't real, that they were just randomly picking off people. And then, of course, you get the 1 or 2 times that they mess up. And that, again, that would be scary.
yeah. It is. It is scary. I don't know. I think a lot of our staff members work really hard to make sure that our kids do feel safe in school. I was telling you earlier, we have an HVAC project going on at Stacy, and right now we have an engineer and an architect that are going through and looking at the different heating systems that we have, and they were on our school grounds and they were taking pictures. And as they told me, they wanted to commend us because they've never had security guards come up to them or police officers really confront them and say, "What are you doing here?" And so they said, it's just never happened before.
But that's a good thing.
It's a great thing, right? It's our schools are safe, and we work very closely with the police. We've been able to hire different school personnel that are on our ground just to make sure kids are getting where they need to go, and making sure that kids are making good choices. So it's helpful.
Well, I remember when Chief Tassino came to propose the SWAT or whatever. They're not real SWAT, but
No, that's
school officers.
we have SRO. We have 2 SROs, but then he also has I can't remember what the.
It was 4 altogether.
Yeah, that's different than what our SROs are, our school resource officers, but they work closely.
Well, I remember what triggered me was when
It's a
they
special ops team.
said that the average response time is 18 minutes
Mm-hmm.
from when schools in our district call out for help
Mm-hmm.
to when the SWAT team arrives. But the average issue is over in 6 to 8 minutes.
Yeah.
So-
It doesn't add up.
No, I remember looking at Chris Moore and saying, God help us
Yeah.
if we don't support this. How would you look at somebody and say, your child got harmed, but we saved money?
Yeah, no, we've had a couple of different instances that I can think of this year, where the emergency response has been phenomenal. We had a swatting call earlier in the fall, where somebody from a different state had threatened that there was somebody in our school. The response for that was unbelievable. The number of police officers that were in our school in under 5 minutes. It was incredible. And not just from Milford, but from other towns too. And then just either last week or the week before, we had a gas line that had broke outside of Woodland, and the number of emergency personnel that were on site, including both the police chief and the fire chief, Eversource, the highway department, and Vendetti, our bus company. We had buses there in under 15 minutes with the kids all loaded on it. So it's just been great and incredible working with all these different folks. And it's not by accident either. We have a district response team where we meet monthly and talk through all these different scenarios. We have a tabletop coming up soon. I think it's next week or the week after, where MEMA is actually coming out and they're going to run us through a scenario to see how we do.
Well, I mean, you've been 3 decades strong in the Milford school system.
Close, not yet. Close.
But you think about when you read some of these incidents,
Mm-hmm.
the perpetrators hide in places that
Mhm.
the cops don't know about.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's a place in Milford
No.
High that Anthony doesn't know about.
That's true. That's true.
So, you right away, you're eliminating one variable.
Yep. And I think it's so helpful to have him in our building, like right at the front too. He knows exactly what's going on, and so he's been nothing but helpful.
Well, all of them. I mean, when I ask the kids,
Mm-hmm.
how is your relationship with the police in the school?
Mm-hmm.
It's always positive.
It is.
And that's got to pay out long term.
Yeah, I think there's many times where a student has gone up to either Anthony or our new SRO, Brian Hayes, just to tell them about something that didn't sit right with them. That leads to them investigating and making sure things are safe.
Well, it's back to when we were kids. You had the Carlos Ducaral, the Joe Dias. Those officers looked at you, and you knew.
Yeah.
You knew you weren't going to. There was no disrespect allowed. You didn't have to. They didn't have to ask. It
Yeah.
was a given.
Yep. I think I think in this day and age, the relationship that our SROs have, and I think Chief Tessino will say the same thing. It only helps us in creating a safe community. I think one thing that we're working on in the spring to tackle, and our SROs are right there with us, is trying to help our students navigate their new technology of e-bikes. I think that a couple weeks ago, it got to be about 70, and we saw a bunch of new e-bikes. So.
70 e-bikes?
No, I'm saying 70 degrees.
Oh, okay.
I don't think we don't. 70's close, but I think in the spring you'll see there are a number of e-bikes on our campuses, and really during the school day, obviously it's not an issue because the bikes are parked. It's after school. I think that we have to try to help our kids navigate. I think that our e-bikes are. Well, I know where I would be if I was a kid. I definitely want one of those. But I think we have to give them a safe place to ride it, right? Where they can use the bikes in a way that it keeps them safe, but it keeps our public safe too, because nobody wants to see somebody get hurt, for certain.
You're talking about snow, I know there's a fundamental question that parents ask.
Yeah.
What's the big criteria that you use to decide whether or not school's on?
You want me to give trade secrets here? All right. So if I can call it the day before, I'll call it the day before. But what I do is I talk to, it's not just Milford that I'm looking at either. It's surrounding towns, because we have a number of teachers that come from other towns, right? So if other communities are calling snow days, that it plays a role, and it plays a role only because we have to be able to staff up our buildings too. So there's a reason why the other communities are calling a snow day too. It's either the roads or whatever it is over in their community. So I'm in communication with many of our surrounding districts and the superintendents over there. I'm on the phone very early with the highway department over here. I work closely with our maintenance department. And I'm asking them, all right, can kids safely get to school? I think.
Are the sidewalks going to be clean?
The sidewalks clean, but is there ice? Do we have salt down? Were you able to, plowing the place is one thing, but then we also have a number of different sidewalks and entrances and all those that need to be cleaned off. So I think 2 storms. We had 4 days this year, and it was both from 2 storms. They were both 2-day incidents. And I think the second day was critical because some of the snowbanks that were formed were over kids' heads. So we wanted to make sure that those were removed. But on some of the other days where it snowed, maybe a couple, 2-3 inches, it's about safety. And if I think we can get there safely, we're going to get there. I don't like delays, and the reason I don't like delays is because it puts a different kind of a burden on parents and families, because they have to figure out a way to now get the kid, find a way for their student to get there on a delay. Thankfully, we haven't had any of those this year, but I think that I would, if it was close, I'd probably err on just calling it off. I don't know.
Yeah, well, the delay, if you're going to delay me 2-3 hours, that's half a day of work.
Yeah.
And if I got a teenager, junior, senior in high school, okay, they can take care of themselves.
Yep.
But what do you do with the 7- and 8-year-olds?
Correct. And there was maybe one day where I thought afterwards I probably should have done a delay, but the kids got in safely.
But the delay is what, to let Scotty clear the roads?
Yeah, it's to give our custodians some more time to do what they have to do, right? People think that when you just throw salt down, it's like a magic formula and all of a sudden the salt melts, but it's not like that. You got to give it time to work, right? And people actually have to drive on it and walk on it for the salt to be working. And it's not just you throw it down and that's it.
Well, it's freezing point depression,
Yeah,
so it'll help a little bit, but still takes time. You can hear it crackling.
correct. So we need time for our folks to get there. And that was the thing on the last storms too, right? We can't get our custodians there because they're buried at their houses, so they got to clear out their houses before they can actually get to the schools.
Yeah, that last storm, I had to beg the plow guy that does my yard to come back,
Yeah.
and I spent 6 hours chipping away ice
Oh my God.
because we were running out of propane for the fireplace, which is annoying, but no big deal.
Yeah.
But then we were down on oil.
Oh,
And
that's not good.
No, the oil truck tried making it up my driveway and couldn't.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, time to get out there and chip away ice. And luckily, Scotty puts out the sand salt
Yep.
mix that
Yeah.
you can go pick off.
Yep. Well, it's good that you get your oil filled. 'Cause have you seen it lately? It's not good.
No, 500 gallons I have at the house.
500.
Two
Two of them?
275s.
Wow.
I'm not looking forward to filling those up
No,
again.
no, don't. It's not good.
How's that affecting the school? Because, I mean, you budget a certain amount of money for
Yeah.
oil.
And it's been a cold winter. So we're a little over budget, I would say. It's hard to know. I think once we're in the spring, we're going to be able to figure that out a little better. But we got an eye on it for certain, and I think it's just something we're going to have to keep a close eye on to try to figure out where we're at and where we might have to cut back a little bit in the spring.
If a parent asks a fundamental question, being, "Is my kid going to get a good education in the Milford system?" How would you answer that?
Well, I guess I would answer it like this. I have 3 kids in the system right now, and I wouldn't send them anywhere else. I know that we have very good teachers in our district, and I also know that together we work very hard to make sure that all of our kids get what they need. I think for some kids, school is very challenging, but I also think that with the pieces we have in place, we can work with all of our kids and get them the help that they need. Right now, as you know, being on the finance committee, we've just put into place a new math program and a new literacy program to try to bring everybody back to the same place, right? We've been kind of loose for a little while where teachers, although we have the Massachusetts frameworks, teachers are still allowed to kind of go wherever they wanted to go, and we felt that we needed to bring everyone back to center and be working on the same thing so that from one grade to the next teacher already knows where that kid was in the last grade. And I think by doing so, it's really going to help us, especially in literacy, try to close some of the gaps that we have right now.
But are the gaps in literacy because of the level of understanding, or is it that we have a lot of kids who English is a second language?
Part of it. I think it's a little of both, right? I think the best thing, in some instances, we've lost sight of what the most important thing that parents can do for kids, and that's read with them. Read with them every single day, starting when they're very, very little, even infants. And it doesn't have to be a lot. It's 10 to 15 minutes every day. Get a book in your hand, read to your kid. It has to start there. Parents really have to help us and help their children in teaching them to read and being kids that love books and reading, and that's how it starts.
Well, we got advice that we followed, which was every night, take 15 minutes to
Yep.
read to your child, and take 15 minutes for your child to read to you.
Yeah, it's great advice. We've done it at my house since my oldest two were little. So we're going on 20 plus years of reading books every night, and I think it helps tremendously. I think the other thing that we are privileged to do is give our kids experiences that help build their background knowledge. That's really what our literacy program is about. Is it helps our kids build up the background knowledge that they have, so that they can become better readers. There was a famous study that was done. I'm not going to know I'll know like the general parts of it, but I won't know the real specifics. But basically, they took middle school kids and kids that knew a lot about baseball, but didn't score so well on reading. And then they took other kids that scored really well on reading tests, but didn't know a lot about baseball. And they had them read this passage about baseball. And the kids that weren't good readers could retell the whole thing better than the kids that were just good readers and didn't know a lot about baseball. So that tells you why the background knowledge piece of it is so important. It just helps you become a better reader, better than even just knowing the skills and being able to sound out words.
From a non-professional, because I'm not an educator,
Mhm.
I'm one of the parents who looked at our kids as having special needs group,
Mhm.
your average group,
Mhm.
and your accelerated group.
Mhm.
If you look at those three groups,
Mhm.
are we doing enough for our special needs kids?
Yeah. We try to include all kids, and we try, especially at I would say the kindergarten, well, preschool through, I would say, grade 7. It's a lot of inclusion, meaning all those three different groups of kids are kind of all meld together in one class, right? When you get into the 8th grade, that's when we start. That's when we start pushing kids. I'd say, especially in math, where in 8th grade you have some kids that are in algebra, which is really a high school course. But then there's also accelerated programs in all the different content areas. I think that's the first time where we really start seeing that. It doesn't mean that there's not opportunities within classes, because I think when you talk to our classroom teachers, they do a good job making sure that the kids are all getting what they want, which in some cases is I'm pushing you beyond where some of the other kids are in the class, and in other cases it's I'm going to give you some more support that some other kids wouldn't get in class, just to make sure that we're all at generally the same understanding in class.
Well, my daughter put it into perspective for me once when she said, "Dad, as an educator, my
Yeah.
job is to get as much as I can
Yeah,
out of each student, to get them to their maximum ability and maybe a little bit more."
yeah,
And it hit me, and she goes, "But being special needs teacher, you got to take into consideration that not everybody's threshold is the same level."
right. But in the state of Massachusetts, the state tells us everyone's going to be here, right? So it doesn't mean that we don't try like hell to get them there, and that's everyone, right? In some cases, if we start behind in kindergarten and we don't keep trying to fill in those gaps, it's only going to compound as they get to middle school, and now before you know it, they're 2, 3, 4 grades behind. So we really need to make sure that in our early elementary classes, we're filling in those gaps as quickly as possible.
Well, I don't know why, but somehow people think the Finance Committee has some say over education, which I guess we do from a budgeting point of view.
Budget, yeah.
But when people come up to you and say, you're spending too much money on special needs, you got people choicing in from other towns. I was stunned because I answered, a visceral reaction was, if on the way to helping Milford kids, we happen to help kids from other towns, I have no problem with that at all. And at the end of the day, somebody wants to play baseball, we have a baseball field. Somebody wants to play football, we have a football field. Somebody needs help with their academics or their life skills, I don't see any difference.
Yeah, I think we're in the business of helping kids. And we need to give kids what they want, what they need when they need it. The longer we wait, it only is going to, again, compound, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's actually a good segue into thinking about this new high school building project, right? There are many high school kids in Milford that we aren't able to get them what they need. And I'm specifically thinking about some of the voc programming, right? We have a voc tech school that we send kids to, but for years we just, for the students that needed to get there, they weren't able to get in.
Well, we've talked on this show a lot about people like my father, who came over to Milford, put him in organic chemistry, he wouldn't do well. Give the man a tool. He was an artist.
Sure.
But he'd never get into a BVT because you had to be top 10% academic.
Yeah. It's changed now. Now there's the lottery. We'll see how that changes for our kids. There's a certain number of kids that are, I can't remember what it is, it's like 65 kids this year that are getting in. So I don't know how that's going to change. But as we think about the new high school project, we're
hearing a lot about, sorry to interrupt, Chapter 74.
Yeah.
Could you explain what that means?
Sure. Well, as best as I can. I'm learning about it too. But it's basically our career programming, right? So it's vocational and technical programming. So things like HVAC or electrical or plumbing. But then there's other things like computer programming or manufacturing. So things that lead to career and tech education. Those are the Chapter 74 programs.
But Chapter 74 is not meant to compete with BVT.
Well, BVT has a number of Chapter 74 programs too. So we're actually talking with BVT next week about how we can help each other. They have a number of programs. I just actually talked to Superintendent Anthony Steele this afternoon, where they just don't have enough seats, like HVAC and electrical, right? So those are programs that, we probably should offer them in our new bill.
But that's what I mean. It's if there's 30 seats available and we have 50 kids.
Yep.
The Chapter 74, in my mind, is to deal with opportunities for the 20
Exactly.
that we're not going to get into BVT.
Exactly. But, I don't know how, again, I don't know how the lottery is going to change it, but there was a number of students that wouldn't even try to get in, right? So we didn't even know what that
Well,
number was.
if you're middle of the
for
world
real.
academic,
Yep.
I hate to say it, but you're being told you'll never get into BVT.
Correct. So they never even tried.
So what opportunities did they have?
I mean, we have some programming. We have a building trades program. It's not a true Chapter 74 program. They learn some skills, but they're not in a Chapter 74 program, for example. You're leaving with certain credentials too that translates into more money when you get out on the street.
Well, it translates into the better chance of getting a job when you get on the street.
So we're working right now with a consultant who was a former superintendent at a tech school through our building project, and he's helping us through, like, trying to figure out what are we're going to be somewhere between 9 and 11 different programs.
Which programs should they be?
Well, that's what we're working on, right? It's an exciting time, but it's also a little daunting because like the Chapter 74 isn't my specialty, isn't Principal Otland's specialty, but we're learning a lot through the process. And what we originally had thought, hey, maybe these are the programs that we should invest in. We're learning that, well, no, maybe not these all 9 or 10 or whatever number this is. Maybe we should think about these other programs. So I think in the next couple of weeks we're going to have a good idea of which programs those are, and we'll hopefully have the full support of the folks over at BVT. Right now they're very supportive, and they just want to help and make sure that we're not stepping on each other's toes, and we're not offering programs that they can't fill either.
Right.
Right. It's like we just
Well,
want to
I've
help
not
as many
heard that they
kids.
have programs that are empty.
They may. I'm not sure though, but they
Yeah.
have. They also have, 20, 21, 22 programs. So they have a lot more than we would ever have.
Well, you'd hope so.
Yeah. Yep. So I think once this new school is up and running, it's going to serve our kids a lot better. It's going to serve our kids that are interested in going into college, but it's also going to serve our kids that are going into careers a lot better than we are right now.
I'll put you on the spot because I know we don't have a definitive answer.
Sure.
When do the doors open on the new school?
Well, we're closer. Right now at our last building meeting, September 2031
Right.
Was what came up. But could it be bumped back a little and maybe be December or January of 2031 or 2030? Maybe. We'll see. It's all speculative right now, and I think our most important role right now is writing our ed plan. And the ed plan is basically the playbook of how this building is going to shape up. When I think back at the Woodland project, I didn't know half of what I know now, but the ed plan is really what drove the design of the building in the way that it was set up.
But that's logical.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's
The building should support the program, not the program supporting the building.
correct, right? So like you basically draw up the plan and work with the architects, and then you understand why things were built the way that they were. When you look at Woodland, you look at the ed plan that we wrote up, and then you look at the way that Woodland is set up, and you say, oh yeah, that makes sense.
From a design, Woodland was built, and we thought we'd have excess capacity for many years.
Mm-hmm.
Where
Still
are
feels
we-
that way. It feels that way. I think it was the doors. It was built for $985, if I remember. We've already had over 1,000 in it, but it didn't feel like. And I'm going to say this the way that Stacy feels when there's over 1,000 in it, because when Stacy's has over 1,000 in it, you know it. But the way that the space is at Woodland, sure, it still feels like we don't have enough spaces, but we don't have enough spaces because we try to specialize different places that really weren't designed for these specialized programs. But I think that we still have plenty of room over at Woodland.
That's good news.
Yeah.
Now, Stacy,
Yeah.
last year we got a surprise on, I guess,
Oh,
call
yeah.
it the high vac,
Yeah.
and $7 million surprise.
Yeah, and I think that's the high end.
Or was it? No, it was five. It was five. It was-
But I'm optimistic that it could be lower, so we'll see.
what is the problem we were trying to solve?
Well, it's a 30-year-old. If you think about it, the renovation was done in '96, and so there was a replacement done of the boilers, but all the different components in the classrooms weren't ever changed. So while the boilers may work, and the controllers, which are the controllers and then the univentilators that are in the classrooms, those are aging, and from time to time, and you can ask our staff and our students, we just have problems that are very challenging to fix and very expensive to fix.
Well, we forget about lifetime. When I
Yeah.
built my house,
Yeah.
I put in 5 central air systems.
Wow.
And the average lifetime, they said, was 25 to 30 years.
Huh.
Well, that's forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been in the house 36 years, and I've already replaced 4 of the 5.
Yeah. Well.
And the same thing with Stacy. I mean, the high-vac system, the components,
Yeah.
25 to 30-year life expectancy.
Yeah.
Well, we're past that now.
Yeah, well, the technology too has evolved in such a way that even the system that we have is, when it is functioning, isn't as efficient as it could be, right? And so, while putting in a new system may cost us a lot today, over the long haul, it's actually going to be a savings.
But whether it saves money or not, I think of the boiler in the high school.
Yep.
50 years old, it
Yeah.
finally went down.
Yeah.
And now you're forced to look, you can't go to ye old boiler maker
No.
and get components for a 40-year-old
Yeah.
boiler off the shelf.
No, we have to either custom make them or find them in other old boilers in other old buildings that are not running. So, yeah, it's been challenging for certain.
When we look at concerns from parents who have advanced kids,
Yeah.
what if they come and say, "Are you challenging my children?" What do you say?
I ask more questions, right? Is like, what is it that you're looking for? I think that challenging students, we have to be very careful about that, because in some folks only think of more work as more challenge, and that isn't the way that I think that we should be operating or thinking about challenging kids. It's more about the questions that we're asking kids, right? It's how are they making connections between classes? What new ideas are they bringing to the table versus like just asking simple comprehension questions? It's asking them to be innovative in different ways that, frankly, we haven't thought of, right? It's asking them to take the material that they're learning and apply it to something new. So I really think it's about the questions that we're asking kids when you think about challenges. And another question that comes up is about homework, right? In one school or another, they're getting either more or less homework. And some people look at that as a mark of a successful student, is how many hours a day they're
Do
spending
they have
on
to do homework?
Yeah, well, I think that we should be able to get it done in school. Certainly in high school, especially when you're talking about advanced placement or some of those advanced classes, there's not enough hours in the day, in the school day to do what we need to do. But we also want our kids to be well-rounded kids, and we have them playing sports, or we have them in bands or dance or theater, or we want to spend time with them and go on vacation or whatever it is. Those kinds of experiences, in my opinion, are more valuable than just spending time doing written work or
Busy
that
work.
kind of thing. So I think that you can't always measure your education by the amount of homework that you did. And there is a time, I think, when the homework that we're doing is just overkill. Unless we're learning something new, and we've already know that, at the middle school level and down, we really should be reinforcing what we're doing in the day. And then, up in the high school, that's when we start, I think, where it should be more expected that we're actually learning things outside of the school day.
Well, when 1974, there were three of us who ran out of science classes.
Yeah.
And back then, Uncle Paul Raftery
Yeah.
signed us up at Dean Junior College to
Okay.
take chemistry and biology. My understanding is we don't have to banish our kids anymore, that there's advanced placement classes
Yeah.
that take care of whatever a child needs.
Yeah, we offer a robust selection of advanced placement courses. We're over 20
Wow.
courses. There's very few school districts in Massachusetts that offer as many as we do. And that's something we don't want to lose sight of either when we're building our new school. We still want kids to have the ability to take those advanced placement courses as well as Chapter 74 programming.
Now, how's the population of the school doing?
We're down roughly 200 or 250 kids right now.
Is that for the year? Because I know Christmas time, the Brazilian population tends to go home.
Yep.
So you can get a swing of a couple hundred
Yeah,
kids.
it's current. We're down that. It's something we're keeping an eye on. The last few, probably between COVID and now, between the recent political events, we were up, and we were one of the only districts. As of last year, we were one of the only districts that was seeing an enrollment growth.
Yeah, it was something like we were one of the 5 schools out of 300 or something that actually
growing.
saw us grow.
Yeah, and just recent events has caused folks to pack up and go, unfortunately. And I think that contributes to, we were talking about Chapter 70 funding. That contributes to downturn in Chapter 70 funding too, right? Students leave, that equals real dollars.
Yeah, it's like $15,000 every kid that leaves, we lose.
Yeah, well, whatever it is, I'm not exactly sure of the number, but it's a lot of money.
Now, what are we doing to get the non-English as a primary language families involved in school?
So it's a good question. It's a question. It's a question we ask every year, and we haven't been able to solve it. We do have some families that certainly are involved in our schools, but not as many as we would like. We would like to see, honestly.
Well, I grew up and got shocked when I left the house as a kid that I got home. I said, "Mom, they speak funny out there," because it wasn't until my darling bride visited my family when she said, "Do you ever speak to your parents in English?"
Mm-hmm.
And I, of course, no. So it was a matter of learning English from the kids in the school.
Yeah.
But my father, I'll never forget, he would show up to every event,
Mm-hmm.
put his coat on, put his little hat on, go to the auditorium, sit there, oblivious of what was going on.
But it was
All he knew was they said, if you want to support your son,
Mm-hmm.
show up.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to admit, it did mean something
Mm-hmm.
to see both parents,
Mm-hmm.
especially knowing that my mother knew more, but my father had no idea what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
What are we doing to get more of those people
Yeah.
involved?
It's a great question. So we have translators at every one of our events. We have a great FRC, but if folks need to come to our schools, we make sure that there are people that speak Spanish, that speak Portuguese, mainly. That's just, I think, that's a given if we have an event. But if there are other languages that folks need, we get them what they need so that they can participate their child's education, especially around like IEPs, meetings. You know, it's when you talk about an IEP meeting, for example, it's more than can you speak the language. You gotta have to be able to understand the language of an ed plan, right? It's more than the language of English. It's like you have to know what everyone around the table is talking about. So it's not as easy as just getting a translator who speaks either Portuguese or Spanish or whatever the case may be, to come in and translate. They really have to understand what's going on at the meeting. We're very fortunate in Milford that we have folks like that can come in and help everybody access meetings, access teachers, and be able to speak, I guess, edu-speak.
The ugly situation, budget.
Yeah.
The governor came out and said, for Chapter 70, which was the way they fund the schools,
Yep.
the state, she proposed a 0.6% increase. Now, anybody who knows anything about educational budget knows 80% of your expenses are people's salary.
Yeah.
And those by contract go up 2-3% a year.
Yes.
What is going on?
I don't know. It's we're still in the middle of trying to figure out how we're going to make ends meet next year. It's certainly worrisome. Over the last, I would say it's 5 or 6 years anyways, we were seeing increases of 5%, 7%, 10%, 12%. So we've been on the receiving end of some really, really significant increases with Chapter 70. And so we've been making, the choices we've had to make weren't anything like this, right? It was, wow, we can have more adjustment counselors, we can have more.
Well, we started with this fictitious thing called level services.
Yeah.
And that was 5.5%.
Yeah.
And then all the initiatives, the new programs got layered on top.
Yeah.
But that's when we were getting 7-8%.
Exactly. And we still have new innovative ideas. We still have programmatic needs. For example, you brought them up earlier, Milestones Room. We have milestone classrooms now that we're seeing going from Woodland to Stacy or from Brookside to Woodland, and we'll need to increase teachers. So we have to figure out how we're going to move a staff member from here to there in a way that is going to fit within our budget.
And people don't understand when they see that we're down 200 kids.
Yeah.
That means you need less teachers, right?
No. I mean, you're talking about really 13 grade levels, because you got to think about preschool, right? But they're spread out throughout the system.
So if you got 27 kids in a class,
Yep.
and you cut 2 kids per class, you got 25. How do you take 2/27ths of a teacher out?
Right. You can't. So if you have to lose anything, you're losing programs, or you're losing staff members in other sorts of ways, or there's items that you can't purchase this year.
Yeah, but even that, Craig, what do you got, 15% of your budget
Yeah.
is stuff?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not like you can make major cuts in
No.
pencils.
No. So it's not an exciting, it's nothing we're looking forward to. And we've been at the table trying to figure it out now for a few weeks. We have some meetings coming up where we're going to get a little clearer on it. But we also just signed our bus contract for the next 3 years. We have our cleaning contract that's coming up that we need to sign. We have our teachers contract that's up. We're in negotiations with. So all of these things are just happening all at once, and we're trying to take all of those into consideration as we think about this budget proposal
And
this
it's
year.
not as easy as saying lay off people.
No, no, not at all. I mean, it's friends, right? It's family members. It's
Plus, people don't understand, when you're in commercial operations, you lay somebody off, they hit the unemployment pool that you've been paying into. There is no such thing, in this municipal. If you lay off 2 people and they collect unemployment, we get a bill that quarter.
Yep, we're paying for it.
So it's not like you save 50 or 60 grand.
No, you're still paying.
You're still paying, and you could be paying the last time, 2003, when Romney cut us hard. It was, you had to lay off 1.6 people to get the effect of really laying off 1.
Yeah, it's not good. It's a little scary, but I guess what I'm optimistic about is I'm also surrounded by very smart folks that are good problem solvers. So it's a problem that I'm confident we're going to be able to figure out in the way that's least disruptive to education.
Well, we really don't have a choice. We've got estimated $181 million to spend. And we have to educate our children. Now the challenge is putting the pieces in the right order so that we get our 60-some% to the schools and it's used as efficiently as possible.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess what I've always been fortunate about and amazed at is the support that the town of Milford gives to the schools. They really do support education in Milford, and I think it's a source of pride for folks in town.
Well, at the end of the day, if you don't have kids, you have grandkids, you have cousins,
Neighbors.
Take a look at the Consigli family.
Yeah.
There's quite a few
Yeah.
people of that family involved in the school.
Yeah. And again, I think that it could be any family, and I think that there's the connections run deep with people around. So you always want to take care of your own.
Well, we'll talk again in 6 months and see what's happening.
Yes, sir.
And thank you for coming on and giving us some information. To our 6 loyal viewers, thank you for joining. May tomorrow night be a better night than tonight. God bless and good luck.